It's a new month, and that means it's time for another new product roundup and giveaway. Every month, I go through a whole bunch of products that came out in the past month or so, take a quick look at them, give you my off-the-cuff thoughts, and then at the end of the video, I give away a bunch of them to maybe you. I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. In case this is your first new product roundup and giveaway, just a little bit of quick information before we dive in. Number one, this video is freaking long. They're always freaking long. Go look down in the video description. I've got a list of all the products I'm going through and the timestamps. If any of those products look interesting, then you can just jump right to them. The giveaway information will be at the end of the video. I will be announcing how to enter a giveaway for one of these items. And I haven't decided which item it's going to be. I always just make up my mind at the end. So let's get into it. And the product I want to look at first this month is the RaceDayQuads FPV Backpack. Now, it can be really hard to find a good FPV backpack at a decent price. If you want to spend $200 or $300, there's lots of things you can find that'll work for you. RaceDayQuads has brought this one in at about $80. The really budget backpacks that you can find are closer to maybe $60, maybe $50, but they're kind of crappy. RaceDayQuads worked with a manufacturer to bring this pack to market, and the goal, I think, is to have a price you can sort of swallow, but still just have a actual FPV-focused backpack. So this is not just some other backpack that they've slapped their logo on. They actually worked with a manufacturer to design this. It's got internal partitions with Velcro. It's got this partition here to hold all that stuff in while you're getting at these flaps on the outer pouch, on the outer cover. It's got a tool section here, right, that you can get at from the outside, and lots of places to strap stuff onto the outside, of course. I think the real competition for this bag is not other FPV bags, because like we talked about earlier, they come in a lot more expensive. I think the real competition for this bag is just, there are some pretty decent just plain backpacks in like the $80 price range. My wife just bought a backpack, and it is like way bigger than that. It's huge. It's really well made, and it's not like, it's like a tactical bag, even though she's not particularly tactical. She just looked online for sort of great backpacks, and this one came up, and it was like $80, and it has none of these FPV focused features like internal dividers and a tool section. But if you look at some FPV backpacks, they aren't either. And people just like put all their stuff in separate cases and stuff it in the bag and deal with it. If what you want is a really good regular backpack just to throw your stuff in, I think there are other places you could be getting really great value for $80. But if what you want is an FPV focused backpack, then $80 for the RaceDayQuads. I haven't seen it in person, but RaceDayQuads usually doesn't make stinkers. Maybe worth a look. This is the Caddx Nebula. It's a new camera from Caddx that's compatible with the DJI HD system. And you might notice it looks an awful lot like the Caddx Vista. In fact, it is. It's identical to the Caddx Vista, except that it has a different camera. This camera is 14 millimeters in size instead of 19 millimeters in size, and it saves about 4 grams. Now, I actually have one of these, and I have actually a whole review video already made where I give you my opinions on it, but I shared my findings about the Caddx Nebula with Caddx, and they said, your video looks worse than ours. Do you mind if we send you another Caddx Nebula, just in case yours is damaged in some way? And of course I said okay, because I'm not going to put out a video that shows a product in a bad light if it's possible that I got a bad product. If you're wondering why you haven't seen my Caddx Nebula video and you have seen everybody else's, that's why. I'm waiting for it to come. It hasn't come in the mail yet. Be that as it may, the Caddx Nebula is kind of, I think it, I'm going to ruin my own review. I think it appeals to a very narrow slice of people because it's slightly smaller. It's about 5 millimeters smaller, and it's about 5 grams lighter. In every other way, it's just a Caddx Vista. And then I think you got to ask yourself, how much does that 5 grams in weight and 5 millimeters in size really matter to me? There is an iFlight, quote unquote, Cinewhoop that has the Nebula on it, and it's like, I think it's like 85 millimeters in diameter, in wheelbase. And on a quad that size, yes, every gram matters. But on most quads where on like a 2-inch or a 3-inch quad where you're putting the Caddx Vista in it, because you give up some features. This camera doesn't have the adjustable settings. It doesn't have latency mode versus quality mode. It doesn't have adjustable brightness, exposure, etc. Things that the standard DJI camera does. So unless you're building one of these quads where the size and weight is just absolutely critical, I'm not sure the Caddx Nebula makes a lot of sense. And if they don't deliver me a piece of hardware that has better image quality, then that would be another strike against it. Nevertheless, new product out this month in this video. Well, Foxeer's apparently released a new camera called the Foxeer Toothless. I haven't seen it and I haven't reviewed it, but it's there, and some people are pretty big fans of Foxeer's cameras, so here it is. Be interested to see any reviews of that. With switchable field of view. Interesting. Switchable field of view. What does that even mean? 4.3/69 switchable, of course. 4.3 wide. What? 69. No, just switchable aspect ratio, not field of view. Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, here's the Foxeer Toothless. It's available in a nano size, a micro size, and a mini size, although I'm not sure there are many frames out there anymore that are made for mini size, but there you go. T-Motors released their latest revision of their F40 Pro motor, one of the longest running and arguably best motors you can get. Maybe not the most budget conscious at a price of $27, but there you go. The F40 Pro, what does it bring to the table? It's lighter. Interesting. 9% less weight. That's pretty substantial. That's like 2 grams, maybe 8 grams over the weight of the whole quad. Pretty impressive. And increased durability. Reduced shaft height. So it doesn't look like there are massive changes here. Just slight change to the bell design, and they found some ways to save some weight. Well, heck, I'll take a lighter weight motor. Sure, it's a great motor, and now it's a few grams lighter. Why not? This item here is the ToolkitRC M6 Dual, a new charger from ToolkitRC. And when I first heard about this charger, I was a little bit hesitant because their ToolkitRC M8, which was, I think, the first of the ToolkitRC chargers, it had this great spec list on paper. It performed okay when I tested it, and then I started hearing all kinds of stories about problems with it, firmware problems, calibration problems, and I was like, well, it's cheap, but you're taking a big risk when you get it. I mentioned this when ToolkitRC has actually sent me one of these and said, hey, well, you can actually see it. Well, you kind of can't see it on the table behind me. I've had it for a few weeks now, and I've been kind of giving it a rundown before I make a review of it because of my skepticism about the ToolkitRC M8. They said, no, we've gone with a new factory. We know it had problems, and this one's much, much better. So far it is, and on paper, it sure delivers a lot. So it is a 500 watt, 25 amp DC battery charger, dual channel for $60. That's a pretty sweet spot there for the whole price versus power. And it's so freaking tiny. In fact, I really need to do some high charging, like get my parallel charge boards out and just charge 20 packs at once, because I can't believe they're getting 500 watts out of something this freaking small. But they're probably not lying. Wait, 15 amp or 25 amp? Like if we compare this to the Hoda D6, which is my current go-to charger, in fact, I own 3 of them. It has 325 watts and 15 amps for a price of $109. It's significantly bigger because it's actually got another version that has an AC power supply built in that it uses the same case. It's a lot bigger, it's heavier, it's got less output, and it's almost twice the price. Just about the only thing that would make me hesitate here is the history of the ToolkitRC line. The M8 was a real disappointment. So I guess time will tell, but if you're a betting person, this could be a pretty good freaking deal. It could be a pretty good freaking deal. Okay, let's get this product out of the way as quick as possible. This is a new camera from Runcam, and Runcam said, hey, can we send you a new action camera we got coming out? And I said, sure. Yes, I'll take a look at it. And when it came, I was like, did you send me a Runcam 2 by accident? Did you put it in this case because you didn't have the actual case ready? Because cameras, like, when was the last time you put a camera in this form factor on your quad? It just takes up a lot of room on the top plate, and nobody uses these anymore. And I went to Runcam and I said, what's going on here? And they were like, yeah, no, that's more for wing people, and quad pilots don't use it as much. And I was like, okay, why did you send it to me to review? Because I don't fly wings. So there you go. It's a 4K camera, and if you fly wings, maybe it's good, but if you fly quads, don't buy it. Buy a Runcam Orange or a Caddx Dolphin or something, the GoPro Session. Go buy one of those cameras. A little while back, T-Motor released their Pacer and their Velox line of motors, which they seemed to kind of like they were designed to compete with iFlight's motors because they have the painted, cool-looking motors, and now they got ESCs too. And I don't know what in the dickens is going on here. We got the Velox ESC, which is their budget line, and it's $35, which is actually a really good price for a 4-in-1 ESC. And then we got the Pacer, which is a 60-amp ESC for $65. And if we look at the F55A, T-Motor F55A Pro 2, this is one of the best ESCs, I think, on the market. Most reliable BL Heli ESCs anyway. And it's $75, and like, it's rated for 60 amps. And what in the heck is even the difference here? I don't know, but it's rated for 60 amps, and it's $62, and T-Motor makes it, so it's probably not bad, and it's got paint on it, so that's cool. But I'm most curious, I got to say, about the Velox, because $35 4-in-1, if it's at all reliable, and that's the number one thing with 4-in-1s. Like, how hard can you hit them before they pop? That's, in terms of just raw performance, I don't think there's as much variation as there used to be. So if it turns out that it's at all durable and it's $35, then you could have a winner on their hand. And T-Motor tends to make good stuff, so if they think they can, yeah, maybe it's a good ESC. I'd buy this T-Motor Velox over a Racer Star any day, just based on T-Motor's name. Sometimes, folks, I have specific products in mind when I start these roundups, and other times I just go to a given website like RaceDayQuads, Get FPV, etc., and I just go to new products. And it seems like RaceDayQuads has started carrying RCInPower motors, because there's just a crap ton of RCInPower motors now in RaceDayQuads' new products page. And that's cool because RCInPower makes damn good motors. In fact, was RCInPower the first quadcopter manufacturer to make the Unibell design, the single-piece bell? They might have been. I'm not sure about that. Everybody knows, like, the Carrera TOA motor has a single-piece bell, and the iFlight Xing motors also have a single-piece bell. TOA claims iFlight ripped them off. I don't know about that. But did RCInPower do it first? Maybe. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, RCInPower makes damn good motors, and you can see here they got all different sizes and prices. In fact, they've even got some pretty out there prices that I'm not even sure like what the intent is. Like, this is a 22.5. Is that right? 22.5. What does that even mean? 22.5-7. 22.5 stator width and 7 high. Okay. I don't know. Okay, cool. Good for you. Here's a 2806, maybe a good 7-inch motor. Here's a 2806 in pink, sure. Here's another choice for a 1507 motor. Let's see what size shaft they have. I always want to look at it doesn't say. I always want to look at the shaft size on these 1507 and 1508 motors and see, because the 2mm shafts that they usually use are they're not very durable. I can't really tell, but I don't think it's a larger shaft. Well, this might be the product of the month, to be honest with you. These are the DAL Foldable Props, and as you can kind of see from the photo here, you have individual blades that mount into a hub, and then they can collapse. And one reason why people like this is because it makes it easier to store the quad if you have to stuff the quad in a backpack or a flight bag of any kind. But there are some real questions about how these handle in the air. Do they hurt responsiveness? Do they increase or decrease durability? And I've heard reviewers say one thing or another, but I've got my ear to the ground with a couple of folks here in Knoxville who are actually flying them. I've even got a few sets on the way to me so I can try them out. it's pretty, I mean, it's got a lot of promise. It's got to add weight, right? But the idea that maybe you could just change, could you take it off? Yeah, you could take it off and you could just change one broken prop. That's kind of cool. So you can just buy the individual colors, and that's kind of cool. But I kind of don't know if anyway, time will tell, but here they are. If you've tried these DAL foldable props, let me know down in the comments what you think of them, because like, I want them to just kind of be like a gimmick, but I'm kind of scared that they're actually legit. And I don't know what it means if they're legit. Like I just don't know what it means. I'm a little worried about like how I would have to change my attitude towards props if these turn out to not just be a gimmick. So let me know what you think if you have an experience with them. iFlight's got a new Xing motor targeting the ever more popular 3-inch Cinewhoop category. It's a 1408 Cinewhoop motor designed for smoothness, of course, as opposed to raw power. I've seen some like Brother Hobby motors, and people are asking me, oh, should I put these on my Cinewhoop? And I'm like, no. Brother Hobby motors are super powerful, super notchy, and not at all smooth. They're very, very much racing motors. Well, the Brother Hobby Tornado, anyway. Yeah, but iFlight Xing, Cinewhoop motor, 1408. Okay. It says here that these can be used on a 3 or a 4-inch quad, but in my experience, like 1606 is the just sort of absolute minimum for a 4-inch quad. I've flown the old Brother Hobby 1407s on 4-inch, and they just didn't work. Okay, I mean, they worked, but they got super hot and they didn't fly real well. Okay, this is a 1408. Like, I think for 4-inch, the optimal is an 1806, which would be a 9x6, 9 radius, so that's 1526. This is a 1408, so that's a 7 and 8 is 12. Yeah, it's a significantly smaller motor than an 1806. What about a 1606? That's going to be 8 and 6. That's 12. No. So it's that's closer. 12. It's actually okay. So that's about the same size as a 1606. Maybe it would work on 4-inch. Maybe. Here's a product that I just don't understand. It's the PandaRC VT5804M V3 blah 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 blah. It's a 1000 milliwatt video transmitter, and that's cool, but it's got a built-in cooling fan. And why? Why does it need a built-in cooling fan? Why would you ever buy this? I mean, oh, wow. No, that's just the that's just the regular PandaRC video transmitter. I can see that it's the same one, and they've just built a fan around it. Okay, and they'll probably put a heat sink on it, I guess, and they've wired it for an SMA. Why? Like, mini quad pilots are never going to use this. Is this for a plane? Like a plane where the video transmitter is mounted inside the plane and needs additional cooling? I guess it must be. It must be for fixed-wing people or land vehicles. I don't know, because mini quads are going to use, number one, much smaller and lighter, and number two, we got all the airflow we need. Every so often, somebody asks me, I got a project where I need a video transmitter, and I'm not putting it on a quad. I'm just going to like use it in a room somewhere or in the outside. Maybe this is the video transmitter for you since it has a built-in fan, and that's cool. If it can do 1000 milliwatts without airflow, without additional airflow for a sustained period of time, I guess it's got a place, but it's not on a mini quad. RaceDayQuads is now carrying FETtec products. And in case you don't know, FETtec is the next big product from the maker of KISS. It's like new technology and better than the old stuff, including things like full sine wave control for smoother motors, 128K motor PWM, but wouldn't that mean the motors don't have as much torque? I don't know about that. Well, surely they do. High quality 40 volt MOSFETs. That's really good. That's going to help make sure that you're not popping this ESC, which KISS is kind of known for. I don't know, but anyway. Solder points for up to 5 additional capacitors. Yes, you could add more capacitors to without having to have a bunch of ugly wires and stuff. Yeah, so FETtec is the new thing, and of course there's a FETtec flight controller as well. That's not up on screen. Where is it? There we go. FETtec KISS F7. Want an F7 flight controller with KISS? Yes, sir. Here it is, the FETtec KISS F7. So if you've been looking for a place to buy FETtec in the United States, RaceDayQuads carries them now. And, you know, if you're into KISS, then FETtec is the new hotness. So go for it. Here's the BetaFPV LiteRadio RC transmitter. And on the one hand, this is a $40 transmitter. So, like, how much could you complain? But on the other hand, like, it only supports one model, I believe, and you have to configure it by plugging it in to the computer and using OpenTX Companion. You, like, literally has no configuration on board. So, I don't know, man, because, like, RaceDayQuads also now carries the FlySky FS-X. That's right, RaceDayQuads has actually added a whole bunch of FlySky gear. And, you know, this is not a spectacular transmitter, but it is pretty well proven. You can even put OpenTX on it if you have a little bit of ingenuity. Oh, wow, that's more stuff than I was hoping to get when I searched for FlySky, so oops. I think between the BetaFPV transmitter and this one, I would spend $50 on the FlySky as opposed to like $40 on the BetaFPV. It just seems like there's a lot of limitations here. I haven't held it in my hand, but on paper at least, like, this isn't a great transmitter either, but a lot of people have gotten into the hobby with this transmitter and it gets the job done. I would probably take it. Well, speaking of FlySky, here's something interesting. One of the things that people struggle with, and I struggle with, when trying to recommend FlySky gear is the receiver. And like the Flea 14 Plus is the receiver I've always gone to for FlySky. And the problem with the Flea 14 Plus is it's a really good receiver, but the antennas are soldered on. It means if you chop an antenna, you're going to have a real problem soldering a new one on, and as opposed to just having a UFL connector where you just pop the new antenna on and you're good to go. But other than that, the Flea 14 Plus is pretty good. It's got telemetry, it's got RSI, got all the stuff you want. So what's this guy, the X14S? Is this just the Flea 14 Plus by another name? No, because it does have, yay, UFL connectors. Finally, we have a FlySky receiver, a micro-sized FlySky receiver with UFL connectors. Let's see, PPM output, iBus output. Does it have RSSI? Usually they output RSSI as a aux channel. It doesn't say RSSI output. Ah, come on, you're killing me, FlySky. That's the problem with FlySky receivers is you can have all the things you want except one of them. You can have telemetry, but not RSSI. You can have you can have telemetry and RSSI, but in a big receiver. Man, come on. It outputs S-Bus. Does it output iBus? You would think it would output iBus too. No, it doesn't. Freaking RSSI. Give me a break. Give me a break. It doesn't output iBus either? Okay, well, fine. I mean, S-Bus is as good as anything else, but is it inverted? Because that's annoying. See? You're killing me. You're killing me, FlySky. I was so excited to see this receiver, and now I'm kind of... Well, anyway, there it is. It's a good receiver. It's a good receiver. You want a micro FlySky receiver with UFL connectors? I guess you won't get RSSI, and life will go on. This is the FlySky FS-A8S receiver, and you might be tempted by this one if you're looking for a micro-sized FlySky receiver. This is not a new product. The only reason we're seeing this is because RaceDayQuads just started carrying FlySky, and this is in the list of new products they just added to the store. I just wanted to say this is a terrible receiver, and no one should buy it ever. Moving on. iFlight is putting out a new line of video transmitters, and this is pretty interesting. So here's the iFlight Force VTX, just a regular VTX. It is in it looks like a 30 millimeter size. Yeah, 36 millimeter size. So it mounts on top of your flight controller if you've got room for it there. It goes up to 800 milliwatts. So basically all the specs that you would probably look for in a video transmitter. But this is the one that I think is really cool. The iFlight SucceX Micro Force. Now this one only goes up, most people would probably call this a nano, not a micro. It goes up to 300 milliwatts and comes in this teeny tiny form factor. Look how small it is compared to the UFL. Completely solder, but you can order it with an adapter, a mounting adapter to mount onto, I believe this one is for a Cinewhoop style, like the Crazy Bee boards, or this one is I think it's a 20 millimeter. I don't do any research. I just dive right into these videos. Yeah, 20 millimeter. Yeah, or whoop size. So you can actually mount this on one of those. And tiny whoops are known for their crappy video transmitters. What's the weight? 1.4 grams. It's going to add some weight to, like, you probably wouldn't put this on a legit tiny whoop 65 millimeter because that's going to add like 10% to the weight. But maybe some 75 millimeters it would fit really well on a little 2S maybe. Yeah. So iFlight SucceX Micro Force, very cool. It's worth saying there's companies out there making little solder boards for like the Crossfire receiver or the Crossfire Nano, like Tiny Sleds is a company. Here, look. Right, so it's not like this is a new concept. I'm not trying to say iFlight invented this, just saying, you know, here we go. We got another choice. Isn't it nice? The next batch of products falls into the category of, they're not new products. It's just new that RaceDayQuads is carrying them. RaceDayQuads is really branching out. They're carrying a DJI Mavic, the Mavic Mini Fly More combo, $500. By the way, I have one of these. It's amazing value for $500 if you're looking to get a camera platform, if you're looking to get a Mavic, but you don't want to spend $800, $900, $1,000 on one of the bigger ones. It doesn't have the capabilities. Well, you can just watch my review. I have a full review of this on my channel. I'll link it down in the video description. But now RaceDayQuads is carrying them, including the GoPro. They're carrying GoPros now. Now, I want to tell you, the GoPro Hero8 is great for cinematic, for like Cinewhoop or cinematic shots, and it's fantastic for everything else you might use a GoPro for, but it is a terrible camera for your typical freestyle basher because it doesn't have an interchangeable lens. The lens cover is built into the case, and once you scratch or break the lens, you are done. So my advice is usually to go to Best Buy and buy a GoPro Hero 7, which has that interchangeable lens, and get the Best Buy insurance, because that's just basically the easiest way to break GoPros all the time and get new GoPros for 40 or 60 bucks a pop. That's what it basically works out to. So normally I would say don't buy a GoPro from RaceDayQuads because they don't have the Best Buy insurance. But RaceDayQuads has actually got this new thing. Here it is. Extended warranty. Some company has decided to do extended warranty with RaceDayQuads. Is GoPro on this list? No. Is it available? Can you get the extended warranty for this GoPro? Because it doesn't work on all products that they sell. Hang on, let's try to add this to cart. I don't seem to have the option to add the insurance. Well, I can't figure out if I just don't know how to add the insurance or if it's because I'm not logged in or what. But if you can get insurance on the GoPro from RaceDayQuads, then maybe it's worth buying. Otherwise, just go to GoPro. Just go to Best Buy. If you're looking for a new antenna for your DJI goggles, you could probably do a lot worse than the VAS Cyclops. I have not tried this, but Video Aerial Systems has a very, very good track record of making great antennas. Now, what's interesting about this one is it's not a bunch of different antennas that you screw in. It's one big, well, it is a bunch of different antennas, but in one sort of case, I guess. Got 4 connectors here that screw onto the goggles. There's no picture of it actually installed. And I kind of like this because one of the problems I've had with larger antennas on the goggles is they kind of get banged around and stuff. And this, let's see if we can find an example of it actually installed. Yeah. So it sticks onto the front here. Does it? No. Doesn't even stick. Does it not even stick on? Oh, it's not even stuck on. It's just sort of hanging there from the... Okay, well, I'll take it. And these guys all screw in. There's no antennas hanging off to bang around. It even looks like it kind of would go inside a bag with this thing installed. I mean, it makes your completely unsexy DJI goggles look even unsexier. So there's that. And the coverage pattern is, yeah, 120 degrees. So that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. The flight beam is 120 degrees. The 3 dB point is 60 degrees. That's pretty usable. You're definitely going to not want to fly too far behind yourself, but it should still be pretty usable. And 10 dB of gain is pretty substantial. That's going to really increase the range and penetration of your goggles. Worth pointing out that it has recently come to light that there is a technical limitation in the DJI protocol where the latency of the link, once it exceeds a certain point, the protocol just stops working. And the net effect of this is that no matter how much antenna gain you've got, you cannot go more than about, I think it's 6 kilometers. 6 kilometers? 6 miles? No, I think it's 6 kilometers. Somewhere around there, even if you have RSSI, the link just breaks and you can't go any further. So still, this will get you a lot more penetration at those bandos and stuff. So there you go. This product has got everybody talking this month. The Insta360 Go is a teeny tiny, you can't really get a sense of just how freaking small this thing is. You see the USB connector or something. No, it doesn't even have one of those. It's magnetic. It is a tiny, tiny 360-degree action camera made for like clipping to your shirt or something. That's when I first saw it. Paul Nurkle had one that was magnetically clipped to his shirt, and he was just walking around with it taking video. People have been putting this thing on Cinewhoops. So here's Albert Kim's video showing Insta360 Go footage from a Cinewhoop. How big is the Cinewhoop? The diatone Cinewhoop. It's 40 millimeter. Okay, it's not actually that small. Try harder. Yeah, here you go. Here's a kit from Newbie Drone where they're putting the Insta360 Go on a little 1S legit Cinewhoop and flying it around. What made this possible was a firmware update for the Insta360 Go which enabled FPV mode, which is it'll shoot for 5 minutes at a time, which how long did it shoot before? I don't know, but suddenly it was viable for quadcopters and people started doing this. And the footage that they're getting is pretty impressive if you're into that style of 360 cam stabilized footage, which a lot of people are. So it's a pretty specific application. If you've ever wanted to put HD GoPro recording on, because the thing is, many of these Cinewhoops kind of fly like crap. I mean, they're fun, but the footage they turn out is not great. It's kind of jittery and stuff. So take a look at some of this footage. People seem so excited about it that it seems like maybe it's more than just a fad, or maybe it's just a fad and it's going to go away. But for now, everybody's getting these freaking things. This is the iFlight Titan XL5. It's a 5-inch DJI quad, $460 with the DJI Air unit, so that puts it at under $300 without the DJI Air unit. iFlight Xing motors, etc. Seems pretty comparable to the iFlight Sedora in its specs, but it is stretched a little bit longer to make room for the Air unit, and unlike the iFlight, what was it? What was the previous one? The Titan XL5? No, the Titan DC5, that's it. Unlike the DC5, which had a dead cat style frame to push the front arms sideways and get them out of view, this one is designed to carry a GoPro, so it's a true X geometry, and you will see the props in your DJI camera, but your GoPro, basically if you're looking for a traditional true X geometry to carry a DJI and a GoPro, here you go. It's going to be heavy as crap though, isn't it? Yeah. iFlight's Ready to Flies have really impressed me. I've been beating the crap out of an iFlight Sedora SL5E. This is a $200 analog freestyle quad, and it's just really, really impressed me at that price point, or even at a higher price point, frankly. So Titan XL5, probably good. I don't know. Haven't flown it, but if you're looking for a bind and fly DJI capable freestyle quad that also carries a GoPro, give it a look. Last product of the roundup is my new product, the Runcam Phoenix 2. I have settled on the Runcam Phoenix 2 as my new favorite analog camera. Yes, I still fly analog some of the time, even though I have some DJI quads too. I tried a whole bunch of different analog cameras, and the Runcam Phoenix 2 was the one that finally I felt like it impressed me enough to replace my beloved Runcam Eagle, which is discontinued and they're not making it anymore. If you want to know more about the Runcam Phoenix 2, I have a full video review of it. I'll link it down in the video description, but I thought it probably would be irresponsible not to at least mention a new product I put out. Well, I put out in partnership with Runcam. You know, since this is my new product roundup and giveaway. That's right. We got to give one of these products away. What's it going to be? Let's do the T-Motor F40 Pro. Let's do motors. I haven't done a set of motors in a while. I've been going big with quadcopters and expensive things. We're going to do a set 4 T-Motor F40 Pro, and we're going to give those, how many sets should we give away? Let's give away 5 sets. Let's give away 5 sets of motors to 5 individual winners, not 5 sets to the same person. Yeah. So if you want to know how to enter, instructions are down below in the video description. Don't just leave a comment. Don't send me an email and tell me you want to enter the giveaway. That's not how to enter the giveaway. Instructions are down below in the video description. There is a Google form you need to click through and go read the instructions. That'll tell you what to do to enter the giveaway. I will announce the winners here on my channel. It's going to be 3 or 4 days until the giveaway closes, because I like to give people time to enter. And then I will draw the winners and I will notify the winners via email. I will also post a video here when the winners are announced, when the winners are drawn, but it's going to be like a week before you, at least before you see the winners. So don't freak out. It's going to be okay. Moving on. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for coming along and taking a look at these new products with me. I hope you liked them. I'm going to need to add some of these products to my website, because some of this stuff is looks pretty good. I'm going to have to test it out, of course, first, but yeah. This is really just homework for my website, the Ultimate FPV Shopping List, where I keep a list of all the products that I recommend. And as new products come out, I have to add stuff to the website. Not too much. I try not to go crazy, but there you go, folks. End of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Happy flying. What are you still doing here? The video's over. Do you watch all the videos all the way to the end? Wow, you are a super fan. Thank you. That actually helps the channel a lot when you watch the videos all the way to the end. YouTube loves that. You know what else YouTube loves? When you subscribe, or when you join my Patreon for as little as $2 a month, or more if you feel like I've earned. Actually, YouTube doesn't like you to join my Patreon. They don't get a cut of that.